mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about episodes 1 and 2 of Apple TV's Presumed Innocent. So, Presumed Innocent is a new limited series on Apple TV Plus starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Ruth Negga. It's created by David E. Kelley, and it's based on a book of the same name by Scott either Turow or Turo. I don't know which syllable to put the most emphasis on. But the book was made into a film released in 1990 starring Harrison Ford and Brian Dennehy. And Turow's follow-up novels for Presumed Innocent have both been represented on the small screen as well, but this is the first time the Presumed Innocent itself has been adapted for TV. And if you haven't heard of David E. Kelley, he's got the chops for this, people, trust me. In addition to being a writer and a producer, he's also a former attorney, so legal dramas are right up his alley. Generally, I run through a list of projects that jump off of a show creator's IMDb page just to kind of let both of my viewers, both of you know what pedigree of creator that they're dealing with. But David E. Kelley's IMDb is so stacked that you're just going to have to take my word for it. He knows what he's doing, particularly when it comes to legal dramas. So when I saw he was adapting Presumed Innocent into a limited series and it starred Jake Gyllenhaal, all of the ingredients were there for a show that I would be watching and covering. I have to admit, I have a bit of a bias toward legal dramas too. I grew up as a kid watching my mom watch Perry Mason, and now here I am as an adult watching and covering Perry Mason. But bias aside, I thought these first two episodes were actually pretty strong. For starters, they were both like 40-something minutes long, and I think that's kind of like the sweet spot for a drama's runtime. Like, I feel like most shows should aspire to hit 42 to 45, 46 minutes in length. These first two episodes, they felt pretty tight and well-paced, so much so that my actual biggest concern has nothing to do with these two episodes, but it's what's left for the remaining 6. Like, when I sat down to start preparing my notes for this video, I saw Alan Sepinwall, I don't know if he released his review at that time, but I saw it at that time, and he described the series as elongated. Which is a very interesting word to use to describe the quality of a television show, and a snooze fest. And I found that shocking because this has been the year of bloated shows that don't do much, but I didn't get that vibe from these first two episodes of Presumed Innocent. But because it did move so well, I did become concerned with how they're going to fill out an entire 8-episode season. So to hear Sepinwall say it's a snooze fest makes me now twice as concerned about how the overall series and product will be paced, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm not here to talk about the overall series. I ain't seen it yet. I've only seen these first two, just like you guys, and I enjoyed them quite a bit. I often do no spoilers for my first video covering a show, and that's not going to change too much here, but I am going to do a couple minor spoilers just to help convey what the show is about, but I'm going to save like the big reveals for the viewers to experience on their own if they haven't watched it yet. However, going forward, since I do intend on covering the show, there will be full spoilers for subsequent episode discussions, and there are some things I won't be talking about that were revealed in these first two episodes that I will be wanting to talk about when we start doing full spoilers and full coverage with episode 3, so stay tuned for that next week. Hey everybody, I just want to take a small break from this review to talk about the various other ways you can engage with me on other platforms. If you're so inclined, and I understand why you wouldn't, I am an acquired taste, but you can join the Patreon where you can get extra content like retro reviews, where I review old shows and movies to see if they still hold up today, Mike's Musings, where I talk about shows I'm watching that I don't cover on the channel, or Mike's VOD, where you can commission me to watch a show, which I will then review on the channel. And if you want to engage with me and chat with me more directly, I also implore you to join the Discord and follow the Facebook page. I set up channels in the Discord for all of us to discuss the shows I'm reviewing on the channel, and I also drop new videos in there, so this is the easiest platform for me to share to from my phone. The Facebook can be really fun because I sort of live comment on shows I'm watching, often while under the influence, I'm not going to lie. And I'll also share news there, both about television and film, and about myself as well. So if you like my content, you want to be more engaged, you think I'm charming, or you simply want to show support, feel free to sign up for the Patreon or join the Discord or Facebook today. Links to all platforms are in every video description. Remember to share all my shit to your respective social media platforms. And now back to this review. In addition to the pacing, Jake Gyllenhaal is giving a really understated and subtly great performance here. For those who don't know, he plays an attorney named Rusty Savage. When a colleague of his when a colleague of his is killed, he becomes a suspect once it's revealed that he had an affair with said colleague. The murder, which we don't see, it takes place at the beginning of the first episode. And throughout the first 2 episodes, we see Rusty get like more and more intense. And I felt myself becoming more and more like agitated and anxious along with him. Like he starts off trying to take the case himself, and it's clear that he has an ulterior motive in trying to do so, but he's largely keeping his cool in taking this case. And again, the viewer technically doesn't know what his ulterior motive is. Like, yeah, I mean, if you know anything about the show, you have an idea that he's probably trying to take the case because he knows that he had the affair. But suspending disbelief here, the viewer's not supposed to know why he wants to take this case. But as the affair comes to light, along with the additional incriminating information that I'm going to not talk about, we watch Jake Gyllenhaal take Rusty from a quiet intensity to like a quiet franticness. And that's really tough to do when your character is trying to outwardly keep his calm. So I was really impressed with Jake in these first 2 episodes with a lot more subtle of a performance. Ruth Negga plays his wife, Barbara. She's great as always. Barbara knows about the affair that Rusty had with this colleague. It ended over a year ago. She has a great scene where she says that she'll stand by Rusty through his whole ordeal, but that he has to stop loving the dead colleague. It's a great scene. And it's a great scene that becomes better when more information is revealed in the, I don't know which episode that moment is in, but following that moment, there are more things revealed that make that moment even heavier, in my opinion. The supporting cast is pretty strong as well. O.T. Fagbenle and Peter Sarsgaard, not to be confused with Skarsgård, they play rival attorneys. Although O.T. Fagbenle is doing this like weird kind of accent that I'm kind of struggling to get used to. It's like he's giving his character some sort of like lisp or some speech impediment. Like I don't know what he's doing. It's weird. And since it's not based off a real person, it's weird that he would like, give his character this. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know, but he talks funny, and I know this guy's British, so I know everything is him doing a voice per se. But something he's doing is throwing me off a little bit. But other than that, I really like what those 2 characters are bringing to the show. So anyway, I mentioned a moment ago that I had concerns over how they're going to fill out 8 episodes, particularly given how much it accomplished in just these first 2. But part of what's giving me some hope is that the show is setting up more with its supporting cast and with a lot of like sub themes that are going to help move this narrative along. So for one, there are politics at play here as well. An election for state attorney takes place in I think at the end of the first episode, and this election dramatically shifts the dynamic between Rusty and his peers. Couple this with him now becoming a suspect, and you have to wonder if bias is going to come into play when Rusty's former colleagues eventually end up trying his case. And then you have the family dynamic. It's revealed that, this is when I said minor spoilers, I was going to give a little bit of something just to kind of help you guys understand what was going on in these episodes. It's revealed that the affair that ended a year ago actually rekindled right before the colleague's death. So in addition to being concerned that an affair that Barbara thought had ended a long time ago is about to become public knowledge with this case, in addition to that, Barbara now also has to grapple with learning that her husband just fucked the victim right before she was murdered. There's a really heartbreaking scene where she makes him tell the kids, and this is the other kind of minor spoiler thing. It was just that scene happened. I'm not gonna like read you the transcript, but it's a really good scene. And on the surface, it's one of those they should find out from you before they find out from the news or at school from their friends kind of scene. But, you know, there's also a measure, I think, of vengeance here, too, in Barbara. She's carrying a lot. You know, the least she can do is make him carry the weight of having to tell the kids what he did. Hell, the scene of her saying that he has to stop loving the other woman, like I said, once we get more information, that scene carries more weight. It carries more weight after the rekindling of the affair is revealed, because he didn't stop loving her, and now his wife knows that without a shadow of a doubt. And that's going to make it even harder given everything that's going on with the case, and given all of this stuff becoming public knowledge. I also like how Rusty's rivals are entirely unlikable people. That would be O.T. Fat Bentley's character and Peter Sarsgaard's character. They're both good at their jobs, which makes them even more unlikable, but they're really good at what they're doing. And it's an interesting dynamic to not like a character, but to respect what they're doing. It's interesting. These guys are going to make it really tough for Rusty to get away with this if he did do it, and they're going to make it really tough for him to defend himself if he didn't. As the second episode continues, we come to learn more and more about the nature of Rusty's relationship with Carolyn. Carolyn is the aforementioned dead colleague. And I think the show is dropping some hints as to what might have happened to Carolyn and whether or not Rusty was involved. So again, kind of surprised to hear this one called a snooze fest. A lot was accomplished in only about an hour and a half of runtime. And while I have concerns over this show becoming a snooze fest, it's already set up a lot of other interesting dynamics. The central mystery is compelling. Gyllenhaal is doing a great job of playing an attorney who just might be guilty of killing his colleague and is trying not to get caught. Who knows? I found these first 2 episodes to be really entertaining. Pretty easy to watch, too. Like, it's not one you feel like you have to, like, pay super, super close attention. Like, it's a relaxing watch. And I intend on continuing to both watch and cover this show. So let me know what you thought about these first 2 episodes in the comments. Feel free to, if you want to discuss some of the spoiler stuff that I didn't want to mention in this video, feel free to discuss it in the comments or ask me about it in the comments. I'm not going to try to shield potential people from seeing spoilers. If they don't want to be spoiled, don't read the comments. But let me know what you thought. And until next week, peace.